In the news, now this may be a surprise for some, but new research is showing that equine conflict behaviors are more common in horses that wear snaffle bridles or the single bitted bridles than they are in double bridles or the kind of bridles where the horse would wear two bits in its mouth. Now, like I said, I know this may come as a surprise to some people. It's definitely a surprise to me. But according to an article in the Horse and Hound, this new research is showing that more conflict behaviors showed up in horses that were in snaffle bridles than they did in horses that were in double bridles. However, this study does come with a flaw in that they only used high-level horses and high-level riders for this study. So they didn't use any lower-level riders or lower-level horses to complete this study. And they do emphasize in the Horse and Hound article that more work does need to be done and that they do actually need to expand the study to include lower level horses and lower level riders. They also emphasize in that Horse and Hound article that they don't really know why there are more conflict behaviors in a snaffle bridle versus the double bridle. Like they couldn't tell you why that was, or if there were other factors involved in that, or what. One of the reasons for more conflict behavior being brought up for snaffle bridles versus double bridles was like just the surface area used in a double bridle is larger than the surface area used in a snaffle bridle. Basically, all that means is that the double bridle just takes more space up in the horse's mouth, so it's not as sharp in action possibly as just like the snaffle bridle, which takes up less space in the mouth. And all of that is just assuming that the horse has a large enough mouth to even fit a double bridle, because I'm sure some horses out there don't have mouths large enough to fit two bits in their mouths, and possibly their conflict behaviors might be more obvious in a double bridle than a snaffle bridle, which I guess is kind of like another flaw in the study, really, because they probably only studied horses that had mouths large enough to fit double bridles in them or two bits at the same time in them. And there's plenty of horses out there who have small mouths that wouldn't as easily fit a double bridle or two bits in the horse's mouth. So, I think that needs to be considered and studied as well. But yeah, I would consider that maybe a flaw of this study. So another idea that was put forward as to why the snaffle bridle may elicit a stronger conflict behavior than, say, double bridles in their study was that the snaffle bridle might require like a stronger aid than the double bridle might to achieve the same result. So basically what that means is like if you're using a stronger force behind something to achieve the same goal, then that could elicit a stronger conflict response versus if you use, say, like the double bridle where you need less force behind that to achieve the same goal. And again, I can't emphasize enough that these are just ideas being put forward as reasons behind why a double bridle may have less of a conflict behavior response than a snaffle bridle. It is not set in stone, and more research does need to be done, and that was emphasized in the Horse and Hound article. Now, all of that was actually very interesting to me and quite eye-opening and surprising, and obviously a lot more work and research needs to be done on it, but I still think that it opens up a very interesting conversation and possibly like a different way of thinking about things. But what do you guys think about this? I mean, were you surprised to hear this, that the snaffle bridle elicited more conflict behavior than double bridles seem to? Does it change the way you think about double bridles and snaffle bridles? Or does it just seem like there may be too many flaws in this study to really determine whether snaffle bridles in real-world situations would elicit more conflict behaviors than, say, a double bridle? Let me know what your thoughts and feelings on all of that are in the comments below.